So today I was working in a certain hospital. Leo nilikuwa naongelesha doctors and nurses. Yeah, nawaambia hata mimi ni daktari. I am a money doctor. Anyway, good evening billionaires. Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're watching me from. I understand that I have clients all over and I have viewers all over. So yako ni gani, ni good morning ama ni gani? Salimika hapo kwa comment section depending na ile masaa una watch your video. So leo I am not here to talk about many things. I'm just here to tell you a story. So today I sat with a certain Santa Muita, just kama ndamuita nurse ama consultant, but she works in a certain hospital in the department of HIV. Kazi yake ni, of course, kazi ya hiyo department I think ni kuongea na watu teenagers, okay, wenye maybe wako affected na HIV and AIDS, maybe in case they need counseling ama kuchukua dawa or something. I know it's usually an ongoing thing. So as I was talking to her, I hadn't asked her age first. Usually I ask the age of a person towards the end of my presentation because it is towards the end that I get to talk about long-term plans. So I like giving myself or my portfolio as an example, especially when I'm talking to young people. When I get to realize you're younger than me, lazima nikuoneshe portfolio yangu, how it looks like, because I also want to encourage you, not only by words or telling you 10 years ni kidogo zitakuja ziishe, or you know, I like to show practically because I'm still in the youth group, you know. So today I was sitting with a young woman, a 32-year-old woman. If I would have judged by the face or what I had judged by her face, I thought she was like a 28-year-old or 27. I thought we are age mates. I'm 28 years. So as I was talking to her, we agreed that her job is in a yumba. Iko 50-50 at the moment up until September because contract yake imeisha, but she's still working, okay? But in September is when she get to know where she lies, you know. So in such positions, I can't encourage a client to take a long-term plan. I only encourage them to do money markets, you know, because after September is how many months from now? 2 months. In September, before September ifike, what if she doesn't get a renewal immediately? But what if she got a renewal immediately? So you see, that is why I'd encourage clients to go for the money market. She already had a money market, so I told her, we have already seen that you can comfortably do 6,000, but now hatujui after September itakuwa aje. So I encourage you to do that amount in your money market, like top up on top of what you're already doing. Can you add 6,000? And we agreed yes, so that when September comes, you can even pay 3 months in case the contract is renewed immediately, you know. Yeah, so that was a conversation. Then I tell her, my dear, she starts saying, once I told her about my portfolio, she started saying, sasa nilikuwa wapi in my 20s and I used to earn good money, you know. That is when I asked her, how old are you? You know? And she tells me I'm 32. Oh, nikamwambia haya, if you would have asked me, I would have said you're 28. Then uko na grace ya God, you look really young from your face. And I'm not saying 32 is old. She's a very young woman. She's still in the youth group, you know. Then she goes ahead and tells me, because I told her in 2029 is when I'll turn 31 and get my first maturity. I was telling her 6,000 is such a good amount to start with, because when I started with a lower amount than that, but I'm glad that I'll be getting the 500,000 in few years time, and it is not small money. By the way, our conversation was about saying even starting with 3,000, it's not small amount. But I was also encouraging her and telling her, don't regret that you didn't start that time, because maybe you did not have the information, but right now that you have the information, utaanza kukua late kwa sababu you now have the information. Then I go ahead and ask her, when did you start working? Is it less than 10 years ago or 10 years ago or more? Maybe it's more, because when I was 22, I think when she was 23 or 24, that age, around that time. She was working outside the country, and she tells me she used to earn very good money, but hakuwa na save kitu, and she wish she started early. Now, this is why I'm doing this video. Any time in life, you will wish you started earlier. Any particular time in life, you will say, guy, last year nilikuwa na do mob. Guy, 2 years ago I had married and I used to earn good money. Or I used to earn the same money I'm earning right now, and now I'm able to run a family. That means I would have saved more that time. So, oh my God, 5 years ago I didn't have a child. The expenses were a bit lower. I would have done more. Any time in life, you will always wish you started earlier. But you see, today is the youngest you will ever be. Kesho utakomezeka kidogo. Kesho kuna mtu ana turn a year older. So you see, today is the youngest that person will ever be. Today is the youngest you will ever be. And when you talk about life insurance, the younger you are, the higher the return. I like giving an example with a certain client of mine that I sold to a 10K policy last year. And this year, I wanted to sell him another 10K policy. Can you imagine, when doing the quote, last year's quote has got higher return than this year's quote, just a year older. Alikuwa ananiuliza, what's the difference? Namwambia, you are just 1 year older. That's the difference. So the young, kwa sababu sasa amezeka, life insurance huwa inaangalia age ya mtu, kwa sababu unfortunately insurance still assumes that the older you get, the closer you get to your creator. Na kwa sababu inakuja na life insurance aspect, that is why for older guys the return is slightly lower. Yes, those guys 60s, 70s, but of course inakuja ikitrickle down pole mpaka mtu mwenye ako 20. So huyu client wangu who is just 34, 37 or 38, aliturn to 38 na returns ikaenda chini. So he had to do a 12K plan. I like giving example with my mom too. There was one time I was selling her a 6K plan. Now I was telling her, mom, hii itakupea 1 million. Usichukue 5K. She had wanted to do a 5K. Na mwambia sacrifice to 1,000 ndio ikupea 1 million. But upon doing the quote, inakataa kufika 1M. She had to add 500 shilling so that she gets a 1 million maturity, 1 million and some few thousand. My point is, tomorrow set ndo better. Today is better. Budget what you are currently earning today. Alright? I want to take this opportunity. I know huwa nawashukuru at the end of the year. Huwa nawashukuru wakati nimewekwa kwa gazeti. That is the time I take time and say thank you. But today I want to take time and thank my clients for 2026, even my previous year's client, all the way from 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. But my this year's client, I want to give you a loud shout out. Kwa sababu, you know what? 50% of my clients are working locally or are working in the country, but 50% of my clients are working outside. How did we get here? Nyinyi wenye mnafanya hapa locally, nyinyi ndo mmekuwa mkinipatia siblings wenu na relatives wenu wenye wana work majuu. You know, Turkey, Australia, UK, Canada. This year I onboarded a Canada guy. But courtesy of you guys. Thank you to my client, Diana Daisy. Yani, through Diana Daisy, I have gotten to know many of you, you know, just because she feels I changed her life. She'd want her followers to also get impacted by what I offer. Thank you, girl. I love you, and may God continue showering you with blessing. Let me also say that Diana anatepelekaga watu Bali. If you want to go to Bali, Diana is the person to reach out to, you know. I want to thank you who have taken a step of introducing me to your colleagues. Ni vile tu siwezi taja hawa watu wengine majina, ni vile tu nataja Diana because you guys already know that she's my client already and I'm working with her. But the rest of you, I love to maintain client information, data protection. Some of you are doing it low-key, but you know what? I see all of you and I thank you. all the companies, those companies that have allowed me to work with their staffs. Hotel Pullman. By the way, if you're looking for somewhere to do your staycation, Pullman is the place to be, or Ibis Style, any Accor, Novotel. I'm not working with Novotel, but it's part of Accor. My colleague is working with Novotel, and God bless you all. So today was just to encourage you guys that today is the youngest you will ever be. So can we do this?